Tired of the same old holiday tunes? Spice things up with the sound of a Wilhauk beef jerky bag being torn open. It's the carol that everyone wants to hear, promising a chorus of tender, perfectly spiced beef jerky. This holiday season, make sure you're Wilhauking around the Christmas tree with Alberta's best beef jerky. Call to place your pre-order today at 780-986-2537.
Weekends were made for Oil Kings Hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Family Fun Sunday, your Edmonton Oil Kings take on the Saskatoon Blades. Enjoy the kids' fun zone with face painting and bouncy castles.
And it's Crazy Hair Day. Sculpt your wackiest hairdo and you could win prizes like teddy bear toss tickets, a team-signed jersey, and more.
Plus, score Calma Kids Food Combos for $10 or less.
Oil Kings Blades. Crazy Hair Day, 4 p.m. this Family Fun Sunday.
Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Aloha, Edmonton. It's back. Century Vision Care's 4th annual Maui Christmas event on Friday, December 12th from 9 to 5. Century Vision Care, Edmonton's biggest Maui gym retailer, is bringing the island spirit to your holiday shopping. Enjoy in-house savings on all prescription and non-prescription Maui gyms, plus giveaways, prizes, snacks, and beverages all day. Same-day eye exam appointments are available, and they direct bill most insurance plans, but spots are filling fast. Get ahead on your Christmas list and treat yourself to a new pair of Maui gyms. Visit Century Vision Care on Instagram.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carrions weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the 2 best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Oh, those Oilers. Where to begin? Where to end? Goalies, coverage, lollygagging on the line change, taking the wrong guy, taking no guy. It's a comedy wrapped in a tragedy in a riddle. Oh, my God, Oilers. This is bad. The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. And I get it. I understand. You know, it's the first game back after a long road trip. But that was really, really bad. And Colorado and Buffalo are still in the memory banks. We are live on YouTube and Sports 1440 online at iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, Apple and Spotify podcast. We tweeted out on X, Blue Sky, step off. We'll get there when we get there. On Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, and at JFenwick04. You can text or call us anytime, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Folks, this isn't working at all. Hard to fix, but I wouldn't make a trade until certain every player is on the same page. And right now, I don't even know if they're willing to commit to the plan. Good grief, it was bad. The good thing, one game, and the team has a chance to practice new breakouts and trash that stretch pass because they don't play until Saturday. The Oilers succeed on Chris Knobloch when the forwards and the defensemen are closer to each other on the ice, and the stretch pass is less prevalent. 3 days of practice, very, very important for this team. If it's 3, I can't count, so I know it's a lot. Our guest today, Kevin McCurdy, Kristen Shelton from ESPN. And we're going to talk about Binnington a lot today, too. Right now, it's time for the introductions. He's already anticipating the Oilers drafting ahead of the Flames at the 2026 draft. And who can blame him? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick, everybody.
Yeah, just looking forward to what I can look forward to.
Yeah, it'll be all year. I've been kind of dissing your Flames, and that would be a tragedy.
I haven't noticed.
But if like the Flames have won 3 in a row, the Oilers would kill for that.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah. He's preparing his McDavid hasn't won a cup in 11 years speech by editing his McDavid hasn't won in 10 years speech. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger.
Am I that hard on McDavid?
No. But you do have a McDavid hasn't won in a decade speech.
Yeah, like, sorry. Listen, no one's more upset about that speech than I am. But
if it wasn't true, I'd call you on it.
Right? Yeah.
But he hasn't won in a decade.
This isn't unfounded.
No, and one thing I want to get clear, I know people are mad at the goalie or Darnell Nurse or Evan Bouchard. If I had the time, we could run all of the video and find culprits everywhere. That team was beaten soundly. That was a humbling last night. Can anybody reasonably say, you know what, they lost 8-3, but my God, Connor McDavid played great. Leon Draisaitl played great. You know who played really well? I thought Connor Clattenburg. And they haven't had time to coach him up yet. What does that tell you?
Connor Clattenburg, a dog. 7 hits last night.
I'm just saying, the guy that the coach hasn't had an opportunity to, infuse with the plan is the guy who stood out last night. This is a miserable time for Chris Knobloch. When he drives to work in the morning, coffee tastes bad. It's like sour cream in there. And it is not good for this organization. Daryl Cates is not a patient man. Stan Bowman's probably I'm just trying to remember Stan Bowman's haircut. Does he have a lot of gray hair?
He has no hair.
Yeah.
But the hair he does have
is gray.
It's gray right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Any thoughts? I've rambled on about my thoughts, and we've talked about our guests today. We have 2 of them. We have Kevin McCurdy and Kristen Shelton from ESPN. We're going to talk to Kristen about the Oilers, but other NHL things, and we're going to talk to McCurdy about the Oilers.
Yeah, I got some thoughts here. I wrote down notes goal by goal, and again,
I love that you're getting notes now. It's like it's becoming basketball to you.
No, well, the reason is normally, and I don't mean this to be funny or disparaging at all, but honestly, Lowetide, if the Oilers lose a 4-2 game or a 3, it's a little easier to track everything. When you get hung for 8, you kind of got to go back one by one and see what happened on which goal. It's a little tougher to remember. But that said, first goal. Bad lateral movement from Stu. He was frozen on the post by the time the puck got over to Ben across the crease there. It was over. The second goal, Eck was on all fours. He was just happy to be there. Bad positioning by Stu, bad rebound control as well. And it's 2-0 before you know it. The third goal, I believe this was the one Bruce Kurlock outlined on his video on Twitter, where they were line changing, and they were line changing during the 3-on-2. Kulak also frozen on the wall. That one was a tough spot for Stu on the 2-on-1. But sometimes I want my goalie to make a save in a tough spot. And you know what? I give Stu this credit because I do think I'm the hardest one on Stu, probably on this station. He does make a big save every now and then, but he doesn't make the big saves frequently enough. This was another example of I want my goalie to be able to make a save there. He didn't do it. Fourth goal. This was, Ekholm had 1 trillion years with the puck in his own zone. He kind of falls over and blows a skate and trips over himself. The most brutal giveaway just off the wall. It was like this is what I wrote down. It was like an unathletic kid in gym class when you're playing floor hockey who gets the ball on his stick and just kind of says, here, someone else take it. Like that. That's what Ekholm looked like trying to make that pass. Sam Steele wasn't even happy to score on that goal. The game was over at that point. It felt like it was just business as usual for him. I also wrote, let's maybe get a body on him, though, to not give too much credit to Sam. Fifth goal, let's get a body on J-Rob. That goes without saying. Sixth, this one was whatever, but maybe can we get a stick on the puck while it's floating around there to just clear it? Seventh goal, all I wrote down was rebound. That was the story of quite a few goals. And then the eighth goal, to Regula's credit, they had possession, but he's probably got a stick with Bastian there. Napping a little bit, but again, it was the eighth goal of the night. It's kind of over at that point. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say overarching thoughts. Here's the other thing. Shout out Connor Clattenburg for scoring his first NHL goal. That's a huge moment for him. That's awesome. I probably don't need the knee slide into the boards when you're down 4-1 and you've given up only 11 shots, but still huge moment for him. I'll never experience that. He'll remember it forever. Nothing to take away. No takeaway from this game was really positive for me. It was all negatives. It was all negatives, Lowetide.
A couple of things that I will disagree with, or at least push back on a little bit. The first goal, Podkolzin has to be stronger, and Bouchard has got to anticipate the pressure from behind. Skinner doesn't have eyes in the back of the head. When you get a turnover behind the net, the goalie is really screwed. So I will push back on Skinner in that particular point. And in the Ekholm play, one of the things that the Oilers are doing poorly now is gapping between the defense and the forwards, and you've got to give the defenseman a cleaner, better look at an outlet. And that was one of the reasons why that play went so badly. But otherwise, I concur with what you said, and it was not a very good game for Stuart Skinner. He let in 4 and Pickard let in 4. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah,
sounds right.
Yeah, it was 4 on 8 shots for Stu. It was honestly, I mean, if you include the high stick there, which would have been Bastion's hat trick goal, that was another thing I wrote down. Like, I know it was called after the high stick. It was a high stick, very clear. Like, I still don't want that to end up in the back of the net. This is me being real.
You're getting mad at Skinner for that?
No, this is me being really, really harsh, and this is me being really nitpicky.
I mean, look, I think we all agree that Skinner needs to be replaced, or at least they need to bring in somebody else. But what I can agree with is that you like, the rumor yesterday was they were going to, they were thinking hard about a trade for St. Louis for Binnington. And for me, that's a bridge too far. You're acquiring a guy who's not a clear upgrade this year on Stuart Skinner, and he has another year at $6 million next year. So you're compromising next year's cap, and you're already just absolutely in dire straits with the cap. The only way the Oilers can make a trade, I see it right now, with St. Louis, is to trade Stuart Skinner and Brett Kulak, 2 unrestricted free agents, and get Binnington. And the Blues aren't really interested in UFA, so you're going to have to give up a first-round pick. You don't have it, and if you do trade that one, then automatically the next 2 are gone. The Oilers actually, I mean, the one good thing is if you're a fan of the draft, there's a small possibility they'll end up using their 2026 pick because they'll be in the lottery. That's how bad it is.
You might have to give up, like, I don't think Kulak has any trade value right now. You might have to. Here's another thing because I love to play the game. Well, guess the ice time. I think Trent and David Tomasek both had like 5 minutes and change.
Well, Frederick had to have been benched after that one.
Yeah. But my other thing was, like, it was 6-1 going into the third period. Like, might as well spread it out a little bit.
No, and they did. But I think that here's my issue for the Oilers. You have a team that, look, they've got goaltending problems, no doubt about it. But the defense at the beginning of the year was a strength. And they're asking their defense to do a lot because the gap between the forwards and the defensemen is wider this year, and they're using that stretch pass more than they did a year ago. So what you're saying to this team is, okay, we're going to rely on the defense, and it's not working. But they're not altering the plan. And until they do, I wouldn't trade for anybody until the Oilers sort out what they are. And I think that might be getting McFarland and Knobloch and Stewart in a room and figuring out how the forwards are going to help the defensemen more. And until that happens, we're going to see this kind of atrocious play. And people hammer on the goaltending and the defense, but I really think this is a coaching systems thing. And they have to figure it out, and they have to figure it out soon. The defense is not this bad. It just isn't. And so what is happening to the defense? What is happening to the defense that can be altered? And one of the first things you can do, I saw Brett Kulak did it, I think against Buffalo. The camera shows the guy he's aiming for. There's 2 sabers and 2 sets of saber sticks that are going to be able to intercept that pass, and they do, and it goes in the net. And until they get figured out how they can gap less, hell, just bring 1 forward down. I know you want to cheat and get the breakaway or the 3-on-2, but clearly they're reading you. They're reading you during the anthem, and that's the problem for this Edmonton Oilers team. The other problem is, honest to God, Binnington to me is the most depressing idea. Not that I'm not trying to put him down. He's a National Hockey League goalie. He's on the Olympic team. He has a Stanley Cup. He absolutely could help a team. I just don't think this team should trade for him. They've got cap issues. And since 2015, the Edmonton Oilers, maybe an hour after Connor McDavid was drafted, they started trading draft picks, in that case for Griffin Reinhart. And they just have never stopped. And the list of players they brought in who are famous but then did not deliver on the fame is myriad. I'm just talking about Milan Lucic through to today. So for the Edmonton Oilers at this point in time, I mean, I almost, if I'm Daryl Gates, I say no more trades for anybody making over $3 million. Because until you figure out what you're doing, then adding a goaltender makes no sense. And if you're going to add a goaltender, the first thing you can do today is call up Connor Ingram. You brought him into the system. You're giving him time. He's playing down there, and he has been inconsistent. But until you try him out, I don't think making a trade is a good idea because he might be better than anybody that you could get, including Binnington. That's my opinion on that. You guys got any opinions on that?
No, I was just you kind of answered the question I was gonna ask because you said, I'm not taking on anyone who's making over $3 million. I was gonna ask if that included goalies as well. But then, like I said, you went on to kind of answer with the Connor Ingram thing. The one thing I'll say about Binnington, and I don't love that idea, he does have a tendency to show up in big moments. And that's something you can appreciate.
Sure. I think that if Binnington got here and was playing in front of this team the way they're playing now, it wouldn't help at all. They're distant cousins. They're not brothers. Are you the line changes, the gaps in the forward and the defense? This is the Oilers are they've been boring for most of the year. And now, I mean, honestly, it's a debacle. It truly is. That game last night, my God, after the Florida game, you show up and do that. Like, shame on everybody. And for God's sakes, is everyone convinced that every Oiler on the ice knows what the assignment is? Because the coverage has been terrible. I love Evan Bouchard, wrote up an article about him in The Athletic today. But he and Ekholm were on for 5 goals against last night, including all game states. And I know people are still hammering Darnell Nurse, but if you look at those plays, if you run the replays, Evan Bouchard just has to be way more aware on the pressure on the first goal. He's not covering anybody on several of them. A couple of them, his check ends up scoring the goal, and then he's in the way in one, and then gets out of the way conveniently. I have to say that in the time that Chris Knobloch has coached this team, I've never seen anything this bad. I did with Woodcroft, but this to me is untenable. Chris Knobloch is in a little bit of pressure right now, and I think these next 2 days are really important. And if I'm Stan Bowman, I don't trade for Binnington, but I might call Ingram up. That's how I feel. I want to hear what you think, and we want to hear what you think. So text us anytime. At 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440, and we'll pass along what you're saying, and then we'll react to it. Our show goes like this. Rumors on the way next. It'll be mostly about the Oilers, and why not? But we will talk a little bit about Thanksgiving football and the football weekend. We've got Kristen Shelton from ESPN at 1240 to talk about the Oilers and the NHL. At 1 o'clock today, we're going to be discussing the Oilers with Kevin McCurdy, 120 open segment, no doubt your comments. And at 140 today, it's Declamations. What are you bringing us today, sir?
Well, as you know, Lowetide, you got a couple of hoop heads back here. So it's Wednesday. That means it'll be dunking with Declan and jamming with Josh.
So we're jamming with Josh.
Well,
I thought we were joshing around.
Well, when I left, what day did I leave? Was that Thursday? I went home sick.
Friday.
Well, what day did we have
Thursday?
Friday,
You left.
What day did we have the big party? Was that Friday?
That was Friday.
Yeah.
You guys had a big party?
Oh yeah.
Was there cake?
Party.
Hey,
Because we're gone.
I'll save it to the next segment. But I have a question about the Oilers for you guys.
Sure.
I'd call up Ingram. I'd do it. I'm with you.
So you're with me on that?
I'm with you on that
All right.
one.
What about
They need
you?
a change.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he has not played great in the American League. In Lowetide, I'll be the first one to put my hand up and say you watch far more Bako than I do. But
He's been inconsistent.
Inconsistency's huge, and inconsistency is kind of been a bit of a problem with the Oilers goaltenders here. But I'm in favor of something.
I would just play Skinner and Pickard on the road because right now they're just shell shocked.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah,
they're not the answer.
It's over. If I knew Stuart Skinner, I would tell him not to listen to media, and I'm in media.
Yeah. For sure. Oh my
We
God. I
want-
tell him the same thing, man.
We want eyes and ears, but don't do it, man.
No, because he's getting piled on and it's deserved.
You are going to find a place in the sun, just like Tommy Sallow did, and Devin Dubnyk did, and Cam Talbot did. This town eats goalies, and you're the latest. All right, rumors next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Bring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel. She drives me crazy.
Bianco there, he caught him kind of playing that puck, but he popped right through him, and then he got into it with Fox on the way back to the bench and was trying to get him to go. Fox, a big guy himself, but up by 5 goals.
David off the post, rebound. 7-3. Roslovic, his 10th.
Our family certainly felt it. Cheryl, she's a survivor. She's a battler. Emily too, but everybody. And that's why there's nights like this that the NHL puts on, and they try to fight this disease. There's a goal.
Bouchard hammers one home. Through 6-2. On a 91-mile-an-hour blast, scoring, and his fine play in November continues.
Just lets it go, but there's traffic in front. And both goals similar. The Clattenburg goal, jamming away to rebound. You look at this here, Zach Hyman, where he typically goes. And if you watch Ottinger, our family certainly felt it. Cheryl, she's a survivor. She's a battler. Emily too, but everybody. And that's why there's nights like this that the NHL puts on, and they try to fight this disease. There's a goal.
Bouchard.
Under 4 here in the first, down to feeling thin. Why not? Don't even think twice about it.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Perfect song to play today because it's cold outside. It's Thanksgiving in the U.S. And all I'm thinking about is the month of May. Can I tell you a really quick story about that song? So the Temptations were a Motown band, right? Like a singing group. And I think it was Eddie Kendricks, but I'm not sure which of the Temptations walks into Smokey Robinson's room. And Smokey Robinson was with the Miracles. He had his own group with his wife, the Miracles. But he also wrote a lot of songs along with Dozier Holland. And so Eddie Kendrick comes in to the room and he goes, Smokey, man, the Temptations haven't had a hit in almost a year. I'm worried, man. I'm worried. I'm really worried. We go on the road. Nobody wants to see us. It's bad. Please give us a song. And Smokey Robinson says, no, I don't have one. Please, Smokey, please. And he goes, well, I got this one song I've been saving for the Miracles. And he pulls out My Girl and he gives it to Eddie Kendricks. And that's love. I don't care. I don't care. You can do the nicest thing on planet Earth for anybody you want. And Smokey still trumps that because he gave away My Girl to the Temptations. Who does that? I would never do that. Never. I mean, Declan wants these 2 hours, and I won't give them. I will not.
All good. No hard feelings.
No, but it'll fight to the death in the parking lot, and then we'll both get run over by young Josh, and he'll take over the show. I mean, that's how it'll go. Oh man.
You know what this is? This is like in Succession. Like we're like Kendall and Shiv. Well, I guess actually you're just like Logan, and I'm like Kendall. And old Josh there is Tom.
Well, he's the Shiv is what he is. All right, it's time for Rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. As you imagine, the text line is rife with rage in the cage, as if Jay Giles' band were there themselves. Call up Ingram. Why the hell not? Why stop there? Call up the entire Baco roster. No difference between them and the Oilers. Both look like AHL teams. From Darcy. Bringing it. Declan, how was Jersey Mike's? I haven't made it yet.
I haven't been yet either. I'm a fake Jersey Mike's fan. I got to get to it. I actually asked my girlfriend, I was like, do you want to order this for dinner the other night? And she was like, I absolutely do not. So I'm going to save it for this Saturday. It's rivalry week in college football, some Jersey Mike's, some Chick-fil-A, some Dr. Pepper. I'm getting all the sponsors for my plate.
Do you think maybe, do you think we could have your girlfriend on like for a segment, just 15 minutes?
I've actually asked her about that. She wouldn't want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I understand.
I think it'd be cool to maybe get time's kind of passed a little bit, but like in the early iteration of the show, it might have been cool to get my family, like my sister.
Oh no, they're always welcome.
Thank you.
But I could pre-send the questions, and I would make sure that they weren't too personal, if that works.
I think you should make it as personal as possible.
No, I don't want to do that because she doesn't want to make you look bad, and I want her to tell the truth. And somewhere in there, you know how they always have a big circle and then another big circle, and there's a little sweet spot where all the good stuff is?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I want. But I don't want to, and she probably knows that. And so she's probably smarter than me. So, I think if I really tailored the questions well, I might be able to, get some information out of her, but I don't want to embarrass her. And I know she doesn't want to embarrass you.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Lowetide accountability is the most important deficiency now. So much freewheeling. Also, how about sitting first and second liners? Just play the third and fourth liners from Drew. Well, the Oilers have this thing where they drop the puck and then there's 7 shots to 1 and 2 goals are in the net. They might want to do something about the beginnings of games. Everybody else starts on time. The anthem should be a clue. You probably, when you're standing and the anthems are on and it's an American team and there's 2 anthems, that would be like, okay, that other team's probably ready. We should be too. And they're not. And they're the basics, like the whole thing about the Oilers now is in their own zone is a tire fire because they've separated the defense and the forwards. The gap is too long. So everything's a Hail Mary, or at least it feels like everything's a Hail Mary. When they go back to having McDavid come down low and grab the puck, and then he moves out and makes a give and go, or whatever the case may be. When they were playing Florida, they did the stretch pass, and then they had just a real deft little pass into the middle where McDavid or somebody would get that puck, and they're gone through the neutral zone and into the offensive zone, and now you're set. The Oilers eschewed that last night, and Dallas ate them up. By the way, good job by the Dallas Stars. We're riffing on how bad the Oilers were. Dallas Stars played brilliantly. That's a good hockey club.
And they did it all without Mikko Rantanen.
I know. That's the thing about, Florida and Dallas. And that's why I think, and I've said it before, and people can get mad. I think the Oilers I think Stan Bowman should say, man, this isn't our year. I'm not going to trade for Binnington because he's going to be $6 million on next year's cap. I'm going to call up Connor Ingram. And we're going to play what we have, and I'm not moving. I am not moving the needle on a trade until this group proves to me that they know how to play the game as the coaches want them to. And if they don't, then you got some trouble. I mean, Stan Bowman's on the hook here. He signed Trent Frederick 8 years, and Frederick right now, if these are the 8 years, I don't know if he's going to be playing in Bakersfield. And I love Trent Frederick, but he's not playing well. Mangiaplani's not playing well now. He's being saved by the last guy he signed. And that sometimes happens. Roslovic has the fire in his belly. Oh, my God. And I'm so pleased for Clattenburg. That's the story of today. The one thing you don't do is call up Howard, let him play and develop away from Big Dur. I agree with that. I was not in favor of him going down, although I thought it was fine. Pierre says, you explained the Venn diagram. Yes, I know I did, but sometimes as you get older, you can't think of words or phrases. And trust me, you'll get there. You'll start calling things thingy, or you'll say, instead of saying the window is open and slamming, you'll say there's a rat-a-tat at the door. So many things get past you as you get older verbally. It's true. Ask Declan. We don't know how old he is, but Jack Roslovic's number is 28.
On the score sheet last night, put one in the back of the net. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Was I being a little too old man yells at cloud with crushing Klatz for his celly?
No,
yes.
It was an aside. What they used to call an aside. You made your point, and then there was an aside. It was a small little thing. You didn't crush him or anything. You just mentioned that maybe when you're down 74-0, you might not want to celebrate like that, which is fine. Now, I'm not going to rip the guy because he's a kid. He's 20 years old. That's his dream. Hell, man, you honestly, for me, I'm 63 years old. That's the only joy I got last night watching that young man score.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because since I wrote that down and since I said it, I've been sitting here for the past 25 minutes or so, and I've been thinking like that's such a special moment. Like, how can I sit here and rip a guy for that?
It's great.
That's where I'm at.
It's great that you have a conscience, but let me give you some friendly advice. You're going to have to lose that. You work in radio, you talk about other people, you got to lose the conscience. Just rip the hell out of everybody.
I think you ripped him. I don't think you need to. He's first NHL goal. I don't care if you're down.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't care if it was against
you're right.
if it was against the Avalanche. He's the one that scored the only goal.
He mentioned as an aside, he didn't do what Eric Belanger did after Nail Yakubov celebrated and say, I'm going to talk to him, which I think is wild in the street. Are people getting mad at you about that, Declan?
Well, someone said something about it in the YouTube
someone
chat.
said something? Yeah.
I mean, look, you know what? Probably it's not a good idea to celebrate. But I mean, he's 20 and God love him. He did it and enjoy, and I mean, this is why we need Mrs. Andrews, because she could come out and say something awful to Declan that I can't think of.
Well, let's skip all that, but I do have a fun trivia question for you guys. If you had to guess without looking it up, how many teams in the NHL have a worse goal differential than the Oilers?
Oh, I think one, and it would be Nashville.
It is actually two, but you're correct. Nashville is last in the league at -29.
San Jose?
It is not San Jose.
Is it? No, wait. That's not right. They have a winning record.
Please be Calgary.
I don't think it's going to be Calgary.
It is not Calgary.
Yeah, I knew it. Sabres haven't been blown out enough for it to be them.
No.
So
it's actually
the Panthers?
No, it's not. It's St. Louis.
Yikes.
Oh, so who's the goalie that St. Louis has?
St. Louis, exactly. I'm glad you brought up that segue, Lowetide, so I didn't have to. But yes, St. Louis and Nashville, the only two teams with a worse goal differential. Now, obviously, team defense plays a big factor. But the point I was going to make, which two goalies are most commonly kind of thrown out?
UC Saros and Jordan Binnington.
Correct.
And that's why you don't trade for them, because you already traded for Connor Ingram, and he might be better than either of those two cats.
Maybe.
Look at the last 10 years. The Edmonton Oilers have signed or traded for a famous guy. And what does he do when he comes here? Jack Doodley. Remember Milan Lucic? They traded Taylor Hall so they could bring in Milan Lucic. How'd that work? When you trade for Binnington, you're trading for Binnington's past. He does have a Stanley Cup ring. He is on the Olympic team, but I mean, he's not going to be the best goalie on the Olympic team. And he's 32, and he's got a $6 million contract for next year as well. You can't every year. The Edmonton Oilers go to the summer. They take off their shoes and their socks. They load a weapon and they shoot all their toes off in free agency. Stop doing that. And that's why Matt Savoy and Ike Howard and defenseman Regula and all those kids in Bakersfield are important, because when you go to free agency, you're getting a guy who's 31 and is about to hit a wall. And that it's been rare. No, Zach Hyman, oh my God, what a signing. That Ken Holland should be in the Hall of Fame for that signing. I know you'll be mad that I said that, but it's true. That was a great signing. And the Ekholm acquisition was great too. But most of the time, when the Edmonton Oilers make a trade for somebody, it ends up being disappointing. And you can say, well, that's just luck of the draw, or the guy got hurt, or whatever. But in Florida, they make trades, and they work out. Somehow Florida ended up with half of the Calgary Flames team from 7 years ago, and they won Stanley Cups doing it. Why can't the Oilers get a guy? Maybe they should get a general manager who's not famous when he gets here so he can become famous for the good things he does here. That might be an idea. You know, when the Oilers won the draft lottery.
Which time?
The McDavid draft lottery.
Okay.
None of the others matter. When the Oilers won the McDavid draft lottery in 2015, the words we got were, well, they can't stay with that old boys network. McTavish is not going to be the general manager. And sure as hell, he wasn't. And you know what? I think you can credibly say that McTavish would have done a better job because he would have stayed the course, not traded Hall, not traded Eberle, not traded for Griffin Reinhart. Right away, he's a better GM than Peter Chiarelli. Since time eternal, since Daryl Cates took over, if I were Daryl Cates, I'd stop answering the phone from Toronto and from the NHL because every time they get a piece of advice on who to hire, it's somebody who sends them in a different direction that isn't good. And now you've got 3 years left of Connor McDavid, and you're at least contemplating, based on media reports, selling next year's team down the road for Binnington. And I'm no disrespect to the goaltender. He's obviously had an exceptional career. He's won a Stanley Cup. He's on the Olympic team. But if you're going to upgrade, do it. And if there's nobody out there, call up Connor Ingram. At the very least, call up Connor Ingram. It buys you a little bit of time. And maybe there's something better at the deadline. That's my opinion. I know a lot of you do not share it. You were telling me on Twitter last night in very colorful terms that you did not agree with my take, and that's fine. That's the great thing about Twitter. That said, I'm going to have the courage of my convictions on this because I've never lied to you. Well, about this. I lie to you all the time about Declan and Josh and all the others. I make stuff up.
You lie about a lot, man. You just be talking over there.
That's his job.
Hey.
I don't lie about very much.
No, I'm kidding. Accusing someone of lying is harsh.
It's not as harsh as calling out Clattenburg on his first goal, though. That was really harsh.
I don't know.
Zinger.
Yeah, like
that was bad.
Let him have his moment for sure.
You must be so proud. I'm just joking.
No.
You did not make that big a deal. It was just an aside. Does anybody know what an aside is?
I made more of a deal about it when I circled back to it to have the discussion.
Then it really sounded like you were ripping on him.
Sometimes you gotta walk back.
Well, when he ran it back, then he made it sound worse than it was.
I wanted some clarity on what you guys thought about.
Well, what I find interesting is that you absolutely harpooned Stuart Skinner about 12 times.
Well, that's deserved. He led in 4 goals on 8 shots.
That first goal, man.
He was frozen. He was
Todd
frozen to
Colson
the near side
got to
post.
play that better. And Bouchard, you cannot get when you lose the puck from behind. You're dead in the water. And Bouchard, he has no sense. I love him, but you have to have a sense of danger. Danger, Will Robinson. Come on. Do you not feel pressure? Do you not have eyes in the back of your head even a little bit? If I sneak up on you in the parking lot, you'll see me.
He's a curious case as a player.
Man, and you know what? The Oilers are a team right now where they're so fragile. 1 goal against, and it's like eye rolls. And at home, they're just... How many times have they been beaten senseless at home? Colorado was at home, right?
Yes.
It was. 2 is too many. And it's also 2 against who you would presumably play in the Western Conference Finals.
Well, and this has been they've had a tough schedule, all those things, but I sure as hell wouldn't trade for a goalie that costs $6 million next year. Well, this team is playing so badly because I don't think goaltending is the only problem. You got to figure out what's going on, moving the puck out and in coverage. And, for some of them, line changes, which, by the way, always seems to be a problem for the Oilers. And also the front of the net, pretty important. Maybe have somebody there. 12:37. I've gone late, and it's my fault, and I apologize to everybody, including Kristen Shilton, who will be our guest next from ESPN. We will talk about the Oilers, had an interesting survey last night on Twitter, and much more with Kristen next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Weekly NFL giveaways, drink specials, huge screen TVs. The hits keep coming at First Round, Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Watch NFL football at First Round, and you could win a trip to your favorite NFL city for a regular season game next season. Catch NFL action Thursday nights, all day Sunday, starting with the Pro Bowl brunch from 10:30 to 2. Then Monday night with half-price boneless wings after 6 p.m. First Round, burgers, beer, sports. Downtown and Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Weekends were made for Oil Kings hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Family Fun Sunday, your Edmonton Oil Kings take on the Saskatoon Blades. Enjoy the Kids Fun Zone with face painting and bouncy castles.
And it's Crazy Hair Day. Sculpt your wackiest hairdo and you could win prizes like teddy bear toss tickets, a team-signed jersey, and more.
Plus, score Calmont Kids Food Combos for $10 or less.
Oil Kings Blades. Crazy Hair Day, 4 p.m. this Family Fun Sunday.
Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Get the Lowdown with Lowetide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
I think about it every night and day.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check it out, WolfGMCBuick.com. Good that we're on YouTube. I had my brow refurrowed yesterday, and as it turns out, timing is everything. The Oilers lose big last night, and now I look like I'm just concerned. And the adult in the room, which is very nice. Joined now by Kristen Shilton, NHL reporter for ESPN. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I love your survey last night, and I can't say I disagree with it. Are the Edmonton Oilers a bad team? I'll hang up and listen. Yes, 78%, and no, 22%. And 495 votes, which is a significant amount. And I think anybody who watches the NHL, it was the only game last night, has to come away either concerned or delighted by the play of the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, watching that game last night, it just immediately takes you back to that 9-1 loss that Edmonton had against Colorado, where you just thought, this is a good team going up against a good team, right? And it just didn't look that way. It really looked like the Oilers were completely disjointed. They just had no chemistry. It was like no one was on the same page and everyone was trying to play their own game. And that's so not what we're used to seeing from Edmonton, but at least in the second half of the year. Now, we know they've started slowly before, but this looks different. Like, you watch that team last night and you just have to ask, like, are they going to be able to recover the way that they have in previous seasons, or is what we're seeing like just a reflection of how this year is going to go for them?
Yeah, and that's the crux of the issue, because fans want to see a goaltender trade, and I get that, I understand it, but there's a lot more than goaltending going on, and there was a coaching shuffle underneath Chris Knobloch, and that takes a little time. There are lots of new players coming into the system, and maybe that's part of it. Where you look at Dallas and they have youth and peak players and older players past their prime marbled onto the roster, but they've all sort of been together for a long, long time, or at least most of them have, the core group. And maybe that's something that the Oilers have to look at, where they're changing so many pieces every summer, and that kind of leads to a kind of a meet and greet in October and November, as opposed to chasing standings points.
Yeah, and I think that you don't have to look any further than Toronto to see the exact same philosophy that's been used of, we're going to try to, go out and bring in new guys and try to piece them in. And even though the core maybe has been together for a long time, that's not the issue a lot of the time, right? Like, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, like, they're going to be able to perform, but there is a supporting cast around them. And if they're not meshing, then it's really difficult for your best players to even be your best players, because you need, especially in the defensive end, like, you have to be on the same page. And your goaltending, if you're going to play D like that, it just doesn't matter. Like, you could have Carey Price in his prime in net, and it's not going to make difference, because you're giving up these grade A chances. You can't defend against the rush. You're spending how long? It seemed like they were just in their own zone the entire time. You're putting an entire over a minute in your own end. And it's never going to end well in that situation. And that's just, to me, where I say they look disjointed. You're not communicating. Obviously, the way that they're trying to communicate on the ice is not working. What's going on behind the scenes, we don't know. But when you have your captains coming out and saying, we don't have answers, I mean, that's pretty damning, because I don't have answers, certainly watching that, but I mean, to be experiencing it must just be really baffling if you don't have any insight into why it's happening.
Kristen Chilton, our guest from ESPN on the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. One of the things I look forward to at ESPN every year is a quarter season grades. They come out around American Thanksgiving. And you said something a couple of days ago about, maybe this year it feels like American Thanksgiving playoff benchmark is not in play. And I know a lot of teams are hoping that, because some of the divisions are just, upside down, and I'm a Bruins fan, so I'm delighted where they are, but the teams are ahead of. I mean, I can't believe this in any way resembles how the season will end in at least a couple of the divisions, and maybe more than that.
I could not agree more, because this is just an example. I mean, I did the Atlantic and the Metro, and I was assessing the teams, and I was looking at Washington, and their 5-on-5 scoring was average. It was like middle of the road. And so I put that in their grade. And in just the number of days that went by from me writing that to publishing the story, they went from middle of the pack to second 5-on-5 scoring in the league. And I just was like, what? It's just one of those years where it feels like every team can jump in any category so quickly. And whether that's a product of circumstance, whether it's that, maybe there were less trades, more trades, maybe it's the injuries this year. I mean, it feels like we're seeing so many, star players missing time already. And maybe that skews. It doesn't feel like a year where you could judge and say, okay, well, if you're not in the playoffs as of Friday, you're not going to be there. Like, I really, truly think that we're going to see at least a handful of teams that won't be in the playoffs come this weekend, but we will see them there in April. And that's a great thing for the league. I think it's great for the fans. It's exciting. It doesn't feel like, I mean, maybe Colorado, because they just I don't know what's going on with them because they're just next level. But everyone else, it just feels like there hasn't been a truly dominant, complete team where you feel like, yeah, that's definitely it.
When I was young, and that was a long time ago, the Montreal Canadiens would lose like 8 games in a season. So by this time of the year, they'd maybe have a couple of losses, maybe 2 or 3 ties. And it wasn't a matter of, are they going to win the Stanley Cup? Are they going to win the Stanley Cup in, 4 or 5 or 6? And I'm not saying the Colorado Avalanche or the mid-1970s Montreal Canadiens, but they're sure acting like it. They look like so far the class of the group that you almost wonder, like a team like Dallas, they can't be disappointed in their year, but they are the trailer by some distance.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny because then, almost playing devil's advocate, you're like, well, they've been so good. What if they have a huge regression in the second half and, something crazy happens because it's just that kind of year. Although I don't see how that's possible given how well Colorado has done just in every single facet. They are dynamic. They defend well. They're getting, good goaltending. It doesn't feel like a mirage. Sometimes there's something about a team that you just think, oh, well, they're getting such exceptional goaltending. It doesn't matter that they, have poor defensive habits sometimes or whatever it is. I mean, Colorado they look sound in every capacity. And that's what makes them so dangerous and makes them confident and should. But you just don't usually see so much mushy middle and then just one team that you're like, even their losses this year haven't been, incredibly egregious. So I like Colorado. Obviously, it's easy to say that, but in a year like this, I don't know. I don't know who is going to, especially in that division, who's really going to challenge them in a big way. And will it be Dallas? I don't know, but it just feels like it's anyone's game. And you can still say that at this point, but, we won't be able to for a lot longer. But right now it still feels like, you could see any team just start shooting up the standings.
Kristen Chilton, our guest on Sports 1440 and the Lowdown with Lowetide. She's from ESPN, NHL reporter. I wanted to ask you this. We talk a lot about the schedule and the compressed schedule and the Olympics coming up and, how difficult it is for these players. Do you find it kind of compressed for you too? Like there's a lot going on. There's games every night, except last night there was one. There's like 15 tonight. And you still have to, get stories out and cover the situations and games and things that are going on. Is it a little bit like in hyperdrive compared to normal years for you reporting on the NHL?
Absolutely, it is, and it's just how quickly, like I mentioned, things are changing, and that you think you know what's going on with the team. Like, I mean, I'm based on the East Coast, so when I get the chance to watch, two Western Conference teams like last night at a reasonable hour, I mean, it's great because you actually get to see them as opposed to just watching, clips the next day. But it's just how you think you have a beat on a team, and then you look back 2 games and they're completely different. And so, I've had feature ideas that I wanted to do. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this reporting trip to this city. And then literally because the team has just cratered in a week, they're like, oh no, we're not going to have you do that trip. And I'm like, okay, so we'd rather have you do something on this team or that. And it just feels like by the time we get it out, it's not going to be relevant anymore. So it's definitely puts an emphasis on, taking advantage of your moments. Any teams that come into your town, you want to be talking to them, you want to be banking things, because it could be that a team at the bottom of the standings is suddenly pushing for a playoff spot or vice versa. And the compressed schedule is fun in a way because there's no days off, which is nice to get in a rhythm. And I think it's a bit like the players themselves. It's like, whether it's a good game, bad game, it's almost nicer that there's another game right there that you can redeem yourself in. So as a reporter, when I make a mistake, when I miss and something has gone awry or gone well for a team, it's nice to have another opportunity very quickly to write something good.
Yeah, it's true. I just looked up, before the show, I was looking up because Columbus is playing Toronto. And ordinarily, I would think that Toronto would be well ahead in terms of, whatever you take, winning percentage, points, whatever the case may be. But that entire Eastern Conference is just like unbelievable. Columbus has 23 games, 25 points. Toronto 22 games, 21 points. So they're in the trail position, but as you said, it doesn't mean anything. They're in last place in the Eastern in the Atlantic Division, but they're not that far away from, say, Ottawa, and the gap could close quickly. So do you think we'll see a coming out of the Olympic break, do you think we're going to see a lot of immediate changes there, immediate moves by teams? Because of the compressed schedule, you might want to make a deal earlier, maybe to get the benefit of it and have the player that you're acquiring more familiar with the roster as you go into the Olympic break, because it's going to be so quickly coming out of it.
Yeah, it's so funny because with trade deadline, especially, when you go back through the history of trades at that time of year, and you look at the players that were acquired, some of the bigger names, and you just think which trades really had such a huge impact because they happened so late, right? And by the time the player gets up to speed, they get involved and they're on the same page, it just doesn't feel like they get to have as much impact as the as the GM or the team would have wanted when they acquired them. So I'm all about the early trade. I understand that everybody loves the idea of, the deadline and the frenzy of it all. But I think that the sooner, and especially in a year like this, where you're seeing so much of your team early and there is the compressed schedule, there's not as many question marks perhaps about what's not working. And so you might feel more confident in pulling the trigger on a trade just because you've had almost more runway with your team to this point, and you look at what's coming up with the Olympics, and there's a lot of obviously good players who are going to be involved in that, and what fatigue is going to be, there for them lingering, especially for players that will be looking to make long playoff runs with their team as well. So I think there's a lot to consider when it comes to that, but I've always been a proponent of, if you know what you need, why wait? And if you know that the market is not going to shift that much, which I don't know that for a lot of those teams that are looking for the guy that's going to come in and make the difference, I don't know if the market would shift that much. So I say, especially in a year like this, when you know what you are, maybe earlier than usual, that's the time that you want to do it. Now, you look at Draisaitl last night, for example, saying, we don't know what we are. That's a bit more difficult, because if you don't know what your team is, then you don't know what to do to fix them. And so, you've got to hope, if you're the Oilers, that there's some answers on the inside that they can address what they think that they actually need, and build that identity that's lacking. And if that requires going outside of themselves, then, this is the year where, especially given McDavid's contract and everything that's gone into that and the success that they've had in recent years, you want to keep that going. So that's where you would say do it sooner than later.
Thanks so much for this, Kristen. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
There you go. Kristen Shilton from ESPN talking about the Oilers and the NHL in general as we head towards American Thanksgiving. By the way, we'll talk about it next hour, but there's 5 really good NFL teams in action tomorrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll be talking about that in hour number 2. We'll also have Kevin McCurdy and Declanations. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Declan.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom at 115-771 49th Street. That's 115-771 49th Street. Now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2. Or you can visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. Curling scores right now. It's Homan over Einerson, 5-4 in the 8th end. Einerson currently curling with the hammer. Earlier today was Jacobs, Epping, McDonald, and McEwen all getting the wins at the Canadian Curling Trials. 15 games in the NHL tonight. A plethora of games kicking off the action at 5, including the Calgary Flames in Tampa to take on the Lightning. The late games today, we'll see the Sens in Vegas taking on the Golden Knights, Canucks in Anaheim taking on the Ducks, and the Stars in Seattle taking on the Kraken. 9 games today in the NBA. 1 game. Kicking off the action at 3 p.m., the Toronto Raptors also playing at 5:30 as they play host to the Indiana Pacers. The late nationally televised game will see the Houston Rockets and Kevin Durant in Golden State to take on the Warriors. In the BCHL, it's the Sherwood Park Crusaders playing host to the Salmon Arm Silverblacks at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku, 7 p.m. puck drop for that one. And in the AJ Devon host Drum Heller at the GFL Twin Arena, puck drop also at 7. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 Update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CHJ.
Now Flatberg. Checked off balance. Polachonik behind the net. Battle won by Yanmark. Up top, Emerson is shot. First of the match. 20 years old. He'll never forget.
To get out.
Off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Mountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Oh, hold up. Are you pulling my beard? Booster Juice has 2 new booster balls for the holidays this year.
That's right, Santa. The Eggnog Booster Ball and Caramel Pecan Pie Booster Ball are 2 new flavors to put some extra jingle in your step. So are you a pie guy, Santa, or a nog guy?
Both!
Good call. That's extra jolly. Happy holidays from your friends at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
This Black Friday, transform your state of mind with Calm Radio. Enhance focus with timeless classical masterpieces. Unwind to soothing nature soundscapes. Or drift into deep rest with their sleep music and wellness content. With 60% off a yearly membership, it's the perfect time to elevate your daily routine. Create calm in every moment and reconnect with yourself. Visit calmradio.com and begin your transformation today.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Wolf GMC Buick, family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. The Colorado Avalanche have recalled Ivan. I wonder what the parents were thinking there. Noji says, that was the longest question ever. That's my style. I start a question and then I go, oh no, this is a better question. And so I extrapolate a little more, tell a little more, talk about the price of pepper in the early 2000s when life was good. And then I ask the question. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I could try to change, but it seems unnecessary. Do you like my new freshly furrowed brow? It looks, very worrisome. And I think it fits the way things are going. What's the problem? Pardon me?
Kevin's here.
Oh, I was stalling for time. Okay, we're now joined by Kevin McCurdy. YouTube. Kevin, how are you?
I'm well, Alan. How are you this week?
I'm good. I'm very good. So I have 150 questions I could ask you, but let's start here. What were your thoughts on the game last night, and what are you most concerned about?
What am I most concerned about is gestures broadly. What did I think of the game? I thought the Oilers played a crap game from start to finish. Not their best showing from basically any position on the ice. There were some upsides. It's nice to see Clattenburg get his first goal, and nice to see them care enough to tuck a couple away, even if they couldn't close that gap. But defensively, this team was rotten last night in every measurable way, whether it was goaltending or a defenseman or special teams performances or whatever. It just was not a good showing at all.
I maintain, and I know that a lot of people are saying that I'm seeing things, and that's fine. But I really think the ask of the defenseman now to send the puck out through sticks because the forwards are waiting for the puck at either the neutral zone deep or at the other blue line is putting a lot of unnecessary stress. And you can do that from time to time, and they have, but it seems to be more a part of the team now. And I do believe the opposition is reading them. Would it be, they've got a few games here days to practice. Would it be worthwhile for them maybe to just reset that a little bit? Use it, you can use it, but use it less and maybe go back to the, forward comes down low, usually the center. He takes the puck in the middle from a pass from the defenseman from behind the net or near behind the net. And then they exit that way with a wrinkle needed mid, pass in the neutral zone, something along the lines of a tweak that allows them to show a different look to the opposition.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're not really playing with confidence. So when you're not playing with confidence, you tend to play the safest ways that you possibly can. And just, historically, even before Chris Knobloch and even Woodcroft, that for us was the bump in long stretch paths and then chase. But that's really hard hockey to play. And you're right, teams are reading it. It's what they're trying all the time. I watched a sequence last night where they tried the same breakout like 5 or 6 times in a row, and every single one of them got picked off by Dallas. Like, that's just not sustainable. You need something else when that's not working. And honestly, it should be kind of plan B anyways, as you kind of alluded to. I don't love it as I don't love it as a play style. It's boring, and it leads to, more often than not, just turning the puck over to the other team just for it to come back the other direction because they're not fast enough on the pucks. And they have a lot of distance to travel, so they're playing really heavy minutes in terms of the amount of skating that they're doing, and it's catching up with them.
Kevin McCurdy, our guest on Sports 1440 and the Lowdown with Lowetide. I wonder about, I think everybody believes that a tweak in net is necessary. And in the last, 24 hours or less, I guess, the name Binnington has just popped up everywhere. It's impossible to ignore it. Jordan Binnington from St. Louis has been rumored, I believe, by Elliott first, but other places as well, coming to Edmonton. And I feel a few things. Connor Ingram is already in the system. Maybe you want to have a look at him before you make a move. And ideally, you would not trade for a player who has a $6 million cap hit next year. But what are your thoughts on Jordan Binnington as an option?
I have reservations about Jordan Binnington. First and foremost, he is dead last in the league in goals saved above expected. He's at minus like 8 point something for the season. So he's not having a particularly good season. The Blues are not playing particularly well in front of him, but goal saved above is usually a pretty good measure of goaltending performance. Um, I like what the player potentially offers in terms of adding some zest to the locker room. They've lost a few of their character players that are known for being a bit spicier with, Evander Kane, and even Connor Brown brought that energy, and, famously Klim Kostin and guys like that, right? We've lost a few of those people who really can spice it up a little bit and keep things. Corey Perry, I guess, would be the most obvious example of all of them. So that is something that they could use a bit more of. As long as it's not temper tantrums from him, then that's great. Jordan Binnington has shown that he can play in the playoffs and play in Four Nations and show up in a big moment. But I still think that he's a bit streaky, and it's kind of a gamble with him which version you're going to get. So I think if you make that move, you have to find a way to keep Stuart Skinner. That's no slight against Calvin Pickard. He has been an honorable soldier, and he's done very well to get us to this point. But it's very clear that we need to make a change somewhere within the goaltending crew. Something needs a shake-up. That's not the only place that something needs a shake-up either. But I think that moving Pickard is probably safer if they can find a way to do it. Now, then again, the cap concerns come in, and I don't really know how you get around that without I think you're probably looking at moving somebody like Brett Kulak with it because of his lack of trade protection. I guess that's certainly, if you're going to make that deal, I would say that, it kind of has to be Skinner, although you would prefer it not to be because as, maligned as he is around here at the moment, I think he, with Binnington, would be a more secure goaltending situation for the org.
I think that's fair. The money works if you sign Skinner, because St. Louis might want to sign Skinner and Kulak, and then there's a slight retention from St. Louis. Then I think they could probably do business, and that may be what comes of it. I always felt like when a manager, a general manager, makes a deal like that, you really want to be sure. And I understand Saros and Binnington are the two goalies that are available now, but I can't help but think that there would be a larger pool and maybe more attractive pool closer to the deadline. And I'll further say, in my day of long questions, that I think this Oilers team isn't really in danger of missing the playoffs despite how poorly they played last night. So would you wait on making a deal, or would you recommend going ahead on a Binnington deal just because you want to get out of the rut?
I guess it depends on who you forecast is likely becoming available. That would be something that I would take to Parkatti and his analytics crew to see, who they foresee falling out of the race and who may be a sneaky get versus an obvious get. Ideally they find their next goalie in a Kevin Lankinen or a Mackenzie Blackwood, that kind of player where you acquire them where they should have acquired them, which was last season, and you get them prior to them signing their $5 million re-up on what was a pretty cheap contract prior to that. So if they can find somebody who's ready to break out, that's the trade you make. But if Binnington is all that's available, I say get it over with, because this team is struggling and it needs the defibrillator sooner than later to get everything back in rhythm.
Would you call up Ingram to play in Seattle?
Oh boy. So Ingram has had 2 or 3 pretty good outings now. I feel for the mental health concerns that he's gone through, and I understand that they were significant, and he took quite a bit of time away from the game. And I am cognizant as an organization that maybe in the situation that the org is right now with, the kitchen kind of being on fire at the moment, that shoving him into that might be a little bit unfair. I'm not saying that he's not paid big bucks to perform or anything like that, or that, he's not a pro athlete and can't handle it. I'm a little bit wary that it's a bit more of a pressure cooker than usual at the moment, and that it would be wise for the team to respect that and figure out if that's in his and the team's best interest.
I bring this up only because it's something I'm thinking about right now. But I keep hearing, get DeBoer in here. And I two things. Number one, I think that Chris Knobloch has taken this team to the finals 2 years in a row, and it would take a even more dire circumstance for him to lose the head coaching job. And I don't think the Oilers have hired somebody as buttoned down as DeBoer since McDavid got here. So I'm not even sure that fits, what the Oilers template is for their hockey club. But do you think something drastic like that is needed or may be needed?
It may be needed. I wouldn't be surprised to make them make a change in the coaching staff somewhere at some point in the foreseeable future. But I'm not sure it'll be the head coach. I do think that if he can't get this thing going soon in a reliable way, that he's at quite a bit more risk than people would think. The league is very much a what have you done for me recently place. And yes, he's gotten us to 2 Stanley Cup finals, but and I know the but invalidates the whole thing. We're also struggling right now in a real way this year. And I'm not convinced yet that the coaching changes that were made in the offseason have really set us up for success yet. So if they can make some changes and adapt as a coaching squad and get it right, sure, great, let's do it. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the folks above Chris Knobloch make a change if at some level if things don't start improving drastically.
Kevin, thanks for this. Appreciate it, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
No worries. Have a good week, everyone.
There you go. Kevin McCurdy. It's an interesting time for the Edmonton Oilers, always is. They have been to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. And I think they're still worried about the Florida Panthers and the way they structure their team and in their breakouts and what they're asking of the defense. And I still think this is a good defense. They're being asked to do too much, and hopefully that will change over time. By the way, a couple of people have asked me about the autograph session for the Oilers at West Edmonton Mall. Goes tomorrow night. I'm retweeting the Oilers tweet about it, where players will be, rules and regs and all that stuff. So it's for you there. If you follow me on Twitter, you can grab that information. And I know it's important. I know that you want to come down, and it's just always such bedlam. So make sure you know where you're going and the player that you want to. I know Josh has got his list ready to go there. All the favorite Oilers that he wants to get autographs from. Declan too. I understand with Declan it's a little different. He will be going over and offering his autograph.
Right. There you go. You got there.
All right. So after the break, I would like to talk about the Thursday NFL games. Are we cool with that? Okay. Looks like we've got 2 thumbs up from 2 guys in radio. Just love working with these folks.
We're grinding back here. We're working.
What are you eating? All right. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
The basketball show turns 10, and we welcome a new generation of basketball talk. Hoop City with Paul Sir airs Saturday mornings from 10 till noon on Sports 1440. From grassroots to NBA to the Olympics, we've got you covered.
Aloha, Edmonton. It's back. Century Vision Care's 4th annual Maui Christmas event on Friday, December 12th from 9 to 5. Century Vision Care, Edmonton's biggest Maui gym retailer, is bringing the island spirit to your holiday shopping. Enjoy in-house savings on all prescription and non-prescription Maui gyms, plus giveaways, prizes, snacks, and beverages all day. Same-day eye exam appointments are available, and they direct bill most insurance plans, but spots are filling fast. Get ahead on your Christmas list and treat yourself to a new pair of Maui gyms. Visit Century Vision Care on Instagram.
It's the most festive sale of the season, the Big Bin Sale at Metal Supermarkets. December 1st through 6th, they're clearing out everything in the off-cut bins at 30% off. A wide assortment of miscellaneous metal, 30% off. And remember, metal makes a great stocking stuffer, right, kids? Now go build your dad a nice shelf for the garage. The Big Bin Sale starts December 1st at Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Hey everybody, it's Chief Principe and Jason Stradler. Join us on a 7-night cruise to the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one hell of a trip. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise, July 2026. Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Book now and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours/Edmonton.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and if you're serious about selling your used RV, then I'm serious about getting you the money you want. You're not the only one who wants to spend the winter in selling mode rather than storage mode, and we're happy to help.
People come to No Bull RV 12 months of the year, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. A used RV is one of a kind, which means when the one you're looking for comes along, customers quickly pounce on it. So if you've outgrown your RV or you're looking to upsize, downsize, or just turn it into cash, come see us at No Bull RV.
You have to be serious about selling, though, right, Rick?
Better believe it, Bob. This is for people who truly want their RV gone. If we're going to store your RV for free all winter, it has to be priced to sell. And that's why customers come to No Bull 12 months of the year. Because you never know when the perfect used RV is going to arrive. And if it's here, it won't last long.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. I like that song unless it's Ed Sheeran.
Sounds a little Ed Sheeran-y, doesn't it? Shawn Mendes, as Josh pointed out during the song, little CanCon action for you.
Oh, love it.
He got big on Vine.
Yeah.
If you remember that website or app.
No, I don't remember anything. I remember
you would have loved Vine.
Pet rocks and hula hoops. You know,
the yo-yo,
slinkies, slinky. Man, I remember the Hot Wheels that had the you go up, thing. I never had that. My cousin Cameron had it. I could go over to his house and play it. Being poor sucks when you're a kid. All right, Tide. Yes, Knobloch has been to the finals 2 years in a row, but did they get there because of him or just with him? Well, I mean, it's worth asking the question, but I think you do have to give him some credit. I would not trade for Binnington. However, he has shown a tendency to elevate his game as the pressure rises. And man, we have a lot of pressure right now, John. They announced Vine's coming back. Is that true?
I don't know. Listen, even if Vine does come back, it won't be the same. Like, it won't be Vine.
It'll be maybe, I've never seen it, so I'll love it.
Vine also, it very much exists in a vacuum that is 2013 to 2014.
So like TikTok.
It was a predecessor to TikTok, yes.
I think it was like Vine Musically and then TikTok all of a sudden.
That's
took
just
over.
the thing.
I don't go on TikTok, but people send me
Smart
TikTok,
move. Wow.
and it's the dumbest stuff ever.
It's true.
And
we got to get you on TikTok.
No, but that's the one you swipe left. I'm not going.
No,
on.
that's Tinder.
Oh, right.
Close one though.
Okay. All right.
You don't want to
That's
get
the
on
one,
that.
That's the one you're on.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, NFL. I think it's funny, even though I don't really know what I'm talking about. That's what old people do. 3 games in the NFL. 2 are going to be really good, and then the Bengals are in the other one. But tomorrow, I want to warn you. We want you to come and watch and listen. We love you. You have allowed me to not really do a lot of work in the last 20 years, and I thank you for it. I'm genuinely pleased, and I owe you a lot, and I can never repay you. But tomorrow, we'll all be here, but I'm the only one who's going to be here, if you know what I mean. Because tomorrow morning at 11, the Green Bay Packers will play the Detroit Lions, and it'll be on TV in the monitor. We're watching a Homan defeat Anderson right now on the monitor now. And so can you give me an idea as a percentage, 0 meaning none at all, 100 being complete attention, how attentive will you be during the football game, which happens to coincide with this show tomorrow?
0.
It's going to be low. I'll tell you why I'm going to put it at probably
3.
No, I'll tell you why I'm probably going to put it at 30.
Okay.
Because on Friday, obviously Black Friday, we are getting the Egg Bowl at 10 a.m., Ole Miss and Miss State. Then after that, at 1:30, we are getting Georgia and Georgia Tech. Then after that, at 5:30, granted, Jason's show only runs till 6, we're getting Texas A&M and Texas. So Friday is when I will be at a true 0. Thursday, I'm going to at least pretend to fake it a little bit and give you 30%.
I get it. Will you do me a favor, Declan?
Yep.
You are one day going to be rich enough and important enough to kind of call your shots a little bit. And they'll come to you and they say, hey, do you want an extra week's vacation? Would you like a little bump in salary, which will only increase the amount of tax you pay? What you should do is say, I don't work when there's a college football game on.
Yes, it will be in my Lowetide. I've thought about this a lot. It will be in my contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
unless I'm at the game,
I feel badly making you work when there's college football on.
I appreciate that because it is something like you have to find the little things in life that bring you enjoyment.
Yes.
And college football for 12 Saturdays in the regular season, plus a conference championship week, plus playoffs. That is the little thing in life that brings me some of the most joy. And I want to appreciate it while I can.
Well, and also you like, we all prioritize, right?
Yes.
Like we prioritize. And so, we have a certain amount of money and time we spend on various things.
Yep.
There was a time where I would buy
Tinder Plus if you're Josh.
There you go. But there was a time,
Tinder Gold, please.
There was a time when I lived for salt and vinegar potato chips and a Coca-Cola. It cost 35 cents a KV bowl, and I would work until I found 35 cents. Then I'd go do that and maybe play pool against the old guys who came back from the war and couldn't hold the stick well, and I'd pay for my next Coke and potato chips. So that was my priority then. Now I've elevated it to Twizzlers, but you get the idea. You guys like sports a lot. Now you work in a sports bar, so you can watch anytime you want.
Well, pay attention anytime you want is a different story, but yeah, they're on all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you mixing the drinks?
I am.
Are you good at it?
Yes.
Can you make anything?
I mean, if you just said like make me a fluffer martini or whatever, I would have no idea what that is.
Slow, comfortable screw up against the wall.
Screw up. I know that one because it's a screwdriver, except it's got gin in it. I don't know. I don't know what else is in that though.
But you could look it up.
I could look it up. I could make it.
Right. What's the Singapore sling? I love those.
I know a Singapore sling.
Okay. Brown cow.
Yeah, I know brown cow. That's pretty simple. White Russian's way better.
Yeah. Oh, right.
What's the difference?
Vodka.
Yeah.
Brown cow's just Kahlua and milk.
Yeah. Whenever
you were a bartender.
Whenever the word Russian is in it, it's a tip off, though, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
What's your favorite drink?
White Russian. I love a White Russian. If I'm just trying to kick back and relax, give me the old Bud Light Lime, baby.
No. For me, it's Crown Royal and ginger ale.
Or Dark and Stormies. Those are good
Love
too.
Crown Royal. I used to what's the gin drink?
Gin and tonic.
Yeah, I like gin and tonic, but there's another one.
Gin martini. Singapore Sling.
Singapore Sling, but there's another one. Don't remember. The time goes fly, and I don't drink that much anymore. When you get older, you really can't.
Tom Collins.
Yeah, that's it. Tom Collins. You can't drink that much. You just can't, because you have to function, and you fall into a deep sleep and Monday night, and then it's Thursday when you wake up, so you can't do it anymore.
Same thing for Josh. Declan, cover that logo up.
I haven't been in this ditch for ages.
Anyways, football.
Yeah, well, we talked about it, didn't we?
Barely. You brought it up and said, "Oh, the Bengals are going to lose on Sunday."
All right, Packers Lions. Who do you like? Packers Lions.
I like the Lions. I've seen them once. Packers on a skid.
Packers handled them the first time they played. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't close. And honestly, it was 1 week, and it had us raising questions about the Lions. I do like the Lions in this one, and I just want to make sure I have the exact. Yeah, like Chicago plays Philly on the Friday. And if they lose, I don't know, like that division, it's so tight at the top end right now. And it's 3 teams that honestly look really good. I think most people think the Bears are probably the worst of the 3, despite leading the division. I like the Lions to win 42-41.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you aren't going to be paying attention.
Take the over at 82.5.
Oh,
tease the line to 82.5 and take the over.
That's the over-under for the Lions-Packers game?
You guys
sure it is
are
not, but that's what I
smoking the
set it
drapes. 83?
83 total. You're going to want to tease that line to 82.5 and put a little on the over.
You're smoking the drapes.
Ballsy.
Come on.
I think this game's going to be fun. I don't think they're going to go over 82.5 points.
It's going to be 32-27, and you're going to look like a
that
fool.
Doesn't,
like
that,
a
that's
fool.
A good call. That doesn't sound bad, actually.
I like that.
32-27 doesn't sound bad.
Somebody
in favor of the Lions, clearly.
All right, Chiefs, Cowboys, please, baby Jesus, let the Chiefs trounce the Cowboys.
I think they will.
They'll try.
But I'll tell you this, man. The Cowboys are suddenly live.
I hate them.
You know this all too well, Lowetide.
I hate them.
They just beat your Eagles. They're 5-5-1. They've kind of quietly rattled off 2 in a row, and that defense that is still pretty bad. They're playing better. Like, they're standing 10 toes down, and they're standing tall. I don't expect the Cowboys to win this game. When I was rattling off the Chiefs' remaining schedule when they were 5-5, I think you could put three wins in there. This was one of them, so I'd still do think the Chiefs win this game. But the Cowboys, they're live, and they're kind of good. They're not all the way
and
good,
the Chiefs are kind of not good.
Just when you think the Cowboys have done so many stupid things, it's over. They come back and do this.
It's a tough beat. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I think that both are on a short week, but Cowboys just had an emotional victory. I think they're going to lose this one.
Chiefs kind of had an emotional victory too. Like, that was.
Yeah, you're right.
Then the free bingo space for the Ravens as they play host.
Joe Burrow's back. He's been officially activated as of 28 minutes ago per Adam Schefter. Officially activated. No T. Higgins.
No Chris Collinsworth.
No, he'll be calling the Chiefs game. Mike,
now here's a guy.
Now here's a guy. Mike, he's so good at his job.
That is absolutely wild.
Mike, can you believe he just made that pass?
He made me so mad in the Super Bowl against the Eagles against the Patriots, because he kept saying the play would be. He goes, I don't know, his knee's down. That's probably the Patriots ball at the 20. I think that's a touchback. And I'm like, shut your mouth, Collinsworth. He made me very angry, although I always loved him. Do you know what he used to do as a wideout? He'd go down 11 yards, he'd turn, the ball would be thrown to him, and he'd fall out of bounds backwards. And it was the perfect play. Nobody, you couldn't defend it because he was tall enough that he could just throw it high and he'd catch the ball.
Mike, that's just the move, man.
What's weird about this game is, like, the Raven, like, if I'm the Bengals, I wouldn't play Joe Burrow. The season's lost. I would shut him down. But here's the thing: you don't want him to have all that time off. You don't want him to be that rusty. You want him to get some
hurt
game
again.
action.
That's what you want.
He could get hurt again. You probably want him to get the cobwebs off a little bit. But, like, the Ravens didn't look Like their offense looked stagnant.
It looked bad against the Jets.
And they have a luxurious position, I believe, where I think they are that much better than Pittsburgh that they're going to win the division. And I know they're both tied in 6-5 right now, but I still think they're going to win the division, and I don't think they're going to face too much of a fight. But they're not exactly in a position where they can just mess around all too much. Like I said, they do have the luxury of likely winning that division, but it's not a certainty. And that offense, it looked stagnant last week against the Jets. So I don't know. Doesn't this just kind of seem like a game where Joe Burrow comes back and has 350 yards and 4 touchdowns passing, and they win 38-35?
475.
Why is everybody scoring 40 points tomorrow?
Well, it's Thanksgiving. It's,
There's a little extra juice. They want turkey legs after.
Yeah, can I just say that
Bengals by 1 million.
The turkey thing, they should have retired it like a long time ago. Like some poor damn turkey died. And they cook the thing, and then the not the play-by-play guy, but the commentator, he grabs a leg, pulls it off, a giant piece lands on the tie of the play-by-play guy, and then they're like, "Oh, Larry," and nobody eats it. Don't waste food.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing that you hear about from NFL players is like, hey, the turkey on Thanksgiving Day is not very good because they cook it in advance, so it's just cold and then it's dry.
Yeah,
and you just played for an hour of football, you're exhausted, and then they're like, here, have this turkey leg, and it sucks, but they do it anyways because it's iconic.
Well, I don't know. I think it was iconic with Madden, right? Because he would say, "You see, you got the grease there, and the glunk and the glunk there, and look at the dressing, it's all gluggy," and he'd say words that didn't make any sense, and that was funny. Now it's just kind of embarrassing, I think.
That is your opinion. That is your right.
Do you know that I once tried to get all of Canada just to have an extra turkey on American Thanksgiving, just because?
Why not, man?
Well,
the more I think about it, the more I like the date of American Thanksgiving.
Because it's a good deal. They have Friday off too.
And it's just it's a perfect lead in to Christmas. Like it kind of combines the holiday season just becomes one big blob.
Yeah, but you can't fly anywhere because everybody's flying.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, you want to know what happens when you get old? I'll give you a great example of what happens when you get old.
What happens when you get old? This
Are
is
you
the
ready?
punchline to a crummy joke. I know it.
No, my daughter works in retail, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have some other people who are lucid, and I count on them to tell me when I'm wrong. So I went through all of last week thinking that last Friday was Black Friday. So I get home, my daughter gets home, and I say, wow, Black Friday sure didn't amount to much. It wasn't that busy at the mall. And she's like, what do you mean last year? I go, no, today. She goes, it's not this Friday, Dad. It's next Friday. So now, because what happens is, as you get older, you don't understand. The music is new to you. You don't even know who it is. That's Lorb Globding. And they've got 37 hits in the last year, and you don't know who they are, And Declan will play a song, and I'll go, that's really good. When was that out? And he'll say 1980. Everything passes you by, including Black Friday. This is what you can look forward to.
I'm so excited.
You bet. And there's a chance between now and when you turn 63 that the Flames will win and the Bengals will win. It's not a good chance.
The Flames will already have won 2029 Stanley Cup champs.
Going to be very disappointed. I hope we're working together.
I hope I'm right. Even if we're not working together, I'll tweet you. I'll be like, Lowetide, I was right. If you still have a show going on or you got a podcast or something, I don't know. I'm going to be like, Al, you got to give me a call so I can flaunt a little bit here.
I'll be at a home eating pre-chewed steak.
Oh, nice. Who's pre-chewing the steak?
I don't know. And it'll be like the pudding that you get, just here we go.
Where they put your pills in.
Yeah, that's right. Choo, 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 choo. Yeah. Okay. 136 on the way. Declinations. What have we got today?
Banana basketball. We're dunking with Declan and we're jamming with Josh.
Was that attempt at John Tesh?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
That was pretty good.
It was terrible. All right. It's all on the way.
Banana basketball.
You're so lucky. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
This Friday, 6 p.m. till midnight, don't miss the 71st annual Kinsman Radio Auction. The Kinsman Club of Camrose invites you to join the fun and support their largest fundraiser of the year. Bid on a huge selection of items donated by generous local businesses. All proceeds will help the Kinsmen serve our community's greatest needs. The Kinsman Radio Auction. For details, find them on Facebook. You can also join the bidding in person this Friday night at the Bailey Theater on Main Street, Camrose. Details on Facebook.
Born from work, built for play. Carhartt's all-new Super Ducks Tech Jackets are built for hard-working people who can't sacrifice mobility for durability. This ultra-tough gear fights off wind, snow, and cold, while full-swing technology flexes with every move and still packs 3M insulation for maximum warmth. Try your new Carhartt Super Ducks at JobSite Workwear. 3 locations in Edmonton and online at jobsiteworkwear.ca.
JobSite Workwear, tough gear for tough jobs.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440, 141. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Jason Gregor will join you at 2 o'clock today and talk about that Edmonton Oilers loss, a humbling loss to a clearly superior team that beat the Oilers in every possible way. And that will be coming up at 2 o'clock today. It's time for Declinations, brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Article, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth AA football coverage online, elksnation.ca. With that, we turn over the microphone and the con to Declan Krueger.
Interview with Elks president Chris Morris coming this Friday on Elks Central. Really looking forward to that one. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, there's one kind of storyline I guess I want to talk about and obviously get your guys' take on, but John Morant and Klay Thompson got into a little scuffle a few days ago at the end of the game. And Klay Thompson and Ja basically said, he was like, listen, you a bum now, you washed up. And Klay, when addressing the media after the game, went on to say, like, Ja's always doing a lot of talking from the end of the bench. Like, I don't know what to say. He's an incredibly talented young player for this league, but you need players like that to be playing. And he kind of like said it tongue in cheek as a joke, but the reality is he's right. And Ja's not going to listen to his advice shortly, but he should, because he was right about John Morant. Like, John Morant has had one of the most incredible fall offs as a superstar I've seen really in some time. Like, this is a guy who went from averaging 27, 26, 25 a night, being one of the most electric players in the NBA. Everything he did was on a highlight reel, whether it was the craziest dunk over a center you had ever seen, whether it was a block that looks like he was elevated by wires, like in Disney movies when the 5'1" kid blocks the jock superstar. Like, he was doing these things and he was doing them with ease, and he kind of had the league at his fingertips as the next American superstar. And now he's not playing games. When he does play, he's not really playing that well. He's not contributing to winning basketball. Like, he is a guy who had everything there for him. And instead, he wanted to, like, the issues are well documented, how this guy wanted to go run around with guns and wanted to kind of play gangster. And it's not how he grew up. He didn't grow up as a gangbanger, but it's how he wanted to portray himself. And it got a lot of people in the Memphis organization and kind of around the league scratching their head, thinking like, I don't know about this, John Morant. Like, I don't know if you're really doing the right thing here. And now he has just fallen off a cliff to such a really kind of almost a sad degree, because this is the thing, like, John Morant, he's still very young and he still is a guy who has ability and talent to be an all-worldly player, face of the league. But I'm just not sure it's ever going to happen, because I don't know if he has the commitment to wanting to make that happen. And he's now, sorry.
I just was going to ask, has he had injuries in this period of time?
Yeah, he's been injured, but it's not like he's necessarily just sitting out for the sake of sitting out. But like, now how it is, it's like when he doesn't get the ball in crunch time, he's talking about how it's the coach's problem. He's talking about how, if the organization don't want me here, they can shimmy out. He's not playing games regularly. And when he is, he's just not who he was. And this is what I think is going to happen with John Morant. Because John Morant right now is in the third year of his 5-year, $200 million contract, 5-year, $197 million. When he becomes a UFA, like, all that talent he has, and he's got a lot of it, that is not going to help him in contract negotiations with Memphis or anywhere else. Like, no one 3 years ago or 4 years ago, because his 2022 season, I think it was his 2022 season when he put up like 28 and 7. That was his best year. But now, 4 years removed from that, 2 years left on this contract, like, no one is going to look to the end of that contract and say, yes, Ja Morant is a guy we can build around and can become a championship winning team with him. Like, they were the second seed in the Western Conference playoffs one year. They lost to the Lakers that year because of experience, but everyone was like, oh, they're very young. Like, the way we talk about OKC now, people were prepping that Memphis team to be, and it's just fallen apart at the seams. And like I said, like, I think John Morant is going to kind of look back and realize all too late that his career might be a waste. Like, that, I think, is what we're gearing up for with this guy, because he is so talented. But
so, like, there was nothing like pre-scouting before the draft. There was nothing about him being this way.
No, there wasn't, because he was pretty, like, he was an average guy before he was drafted. And in his rookie year, there was nothing about this. And then it was either his second or his third year. I think it was his third year, because his second year he really popped off, averaged like 27 points a game. And then his third year he gets injured, or maybe it's in the off season and he is shown with a gun in a strip club, just waving it around. And people were like, hey, whoa, this is a big deal. 25 game suspension, right, Deck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. And so ever since then, it's like, man, all right, you made one mistake. Like, just shore it up. Everything will be good. Didn't happen. It just keeps happening over and over again. This is like the new edition of Stephon Marbury.
Yeah, Steph Marbury is actually a great comparison, and Steve Francis.
But
But John Morant has a higher peak than those guys, and he had multiple gun incidents, like going on Instagram Live with his friend who had a gun in the car and waving it around.
Did Francis not show a little bit of this before the draft?
Well, he did, because he said, I'm not playing for Vancouver, who was going to draft him.
Right.
He was like, I'm not playing
Franchise.
there. They still draft him, and he's like, I'm not playing for you guys. So they trade him, Steve Franchise, to the Rockets.
Well, I just feel like this is unusual in that he didn't display that. You said, Declan, what caught my ear was you said that he was not he didn't walk around with guns before the draft, before he became famous. And I, like, to me, that's kind of a warning sign, because maybe he just is like wildly insecure or something. Like, is he very immature?
Oh,
obviously.
my!
Evidently,
the most I cannot think of a more immature player in North American sports. Honestly, superstar or like borderline superstar.
All right.
Can you think of one? Like, maybe
I
Trevor Zegras comes to mind, but John Morant's way worse than he is. We got a lot of divas in the NFL, but nothing like Ja. And Brendan came in with a text. He said, it's not illegal to own a gun. I own 3. Sure, but there is certainly a difference between, like a regular person, me or you, owning a gun, and someone who is Ja Morant, who is pegged to be the face of a franchise, who is an NBA superstar, who has all the cameras on the world in him, going into a strip club and waving a gun around. And then when the team says, hey, man, listen, maybe don't do that, like a week later, getting on Instagram Live with your friend in the car and waving guns around there too. And this is the other thing about Ja Morant. And I don't want to go too hard on him or dig too deep into this, but Ja Morant he's Clarence from 8 Mile. Like, this guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence. Clarence's parents have a real good marriage. Like that, Ja Morant did not escape the streets of Baltimore or St. Louis to make it to the NBA. Like, he used to train in the backyard with his dad. Like, he is a guy who had a good upbringing and wasn't heavily recruited until he had a growth spurt. Like, he is not some guy. This became part of his persona once he made the NBA. It's not who he was before the NBA, and I think that's why it's such an issue for the franchise.
Yeah, and like ordinarily I'd hammer the franchise, but it appears as though this was something that unlocked once he started making money and became famous.
This was definitely after he signed that monster contract extension.
That's really a tough break, and
and I can't reiterate enough how talented this guy is. From 2021 to beginning of 2023, you could make a Sports Center top 10 and it could feasibly be all Ja Morant plays from that week. Like, that's how good and how talented he was as a basketball player. If you go watch his highlights on YouTube now, it's some of the craziest things you've ever seen. But what happens at the end of this contract? Like, is he content to just take his money and go? And maybe he has, credit to him. You're going to get $200 million over 5 years. A lot of people
going to cost himself so much.
Well, that's it. And and here's the other thing. You are going to be remembered as a clown. Like, they're not going to be like, oh, Ja Morant, yeah, man, real talented player. It's too bad it didn't work out. Like, when people talk about D Rose, they're like, hey, man, real talented player, youngest MVP. It's too bad he kept getting injured, man, because he could have been special. With Ja, it's going to be it is going to be this was completely self-inflicted, and you did everything to himself. And Brendan came in about the gun thing. Brendan, I don't care if he has a permit to legally carry. I'm sure he does. That's not the point. When you're waving a gun around in a strip club and the team says, hey, don't do it, that's a pretty bad look for our superstar. And by the way, they're paying you $40 million a year. And then you get on Instagram Live and do it again a week after, basically saying F you to your team and this franchise that is invested in you as the franchise player. That is the problem. It's not about legally owning a gun or not. It's about what it brings when you're that face of the franchise.
Well, and you got to get rid of him. I mean, look, it's the money's one thing, but you know, when you're the leader, and he is, because he's talented and he's making a lot of money and he's famous now, then you are looked to, and your leadership means, if positive or negative, it means everything, and that's what you carry. So if what he carries is that much negative, then you got to move on from him.
They've talked about it. Build around Triple J, probably a better player.
And then like it
Averages
almost
6
doesn't
rebounds
matter.
as a 6'11" power forward, though. Got to bump those up.
It almost doesn't matter how you get rid of him or what return you get, because you are in a way starting over. You're making the center of your team something else, and that in and of itself sounds like is a positive.
Well, I give you this. Like, if you're going to get rid of John Morant and you want to build, having Jaren Jackson Jr. to build around is a pretty sweet spot to be in. Like, that's a pretty good player if you're going to start your you're starting your rebuild from step 5.
Right.
If you got Jaren Jackson Jr. at this age with this level of ability.
Yeah, you're already in a nice spot for that. And also, his contract extension is not as big as it could have been, because he missed All-NBA last year by 1 vote. So that took him away from being able to sign a $317 million contract extension or something to 185.
You're talking about Triple J.
Triple J, that's what I said, right? Or did I say?
No,
Triple J, regardless.
Working with me, it's already happening. You're starting to reference
it was
stuff.
happening before I started working with you, Tide. I hate to tell you. But.
And you're not even 28 yet.
You mean Jack Roslovic's number? Anything between 26 to 29?
Also, shout out Brendan for the conversation points. I'm glad that got us going. That was great Sports Talk
Well,
Radio.
what I love is all I care about in this segment is that you get worked up, and you did. And it's because that, to me, makes it fun radio.
Hey, also, the Raptors playing incredible, and Nikola Jokic is the best basketball player ever.
You hit all the points we want to talk
Well,
about.
wait a minute. But what about LeBron? We slid past
that. The list goes Jokic, then Jordan, then LeBron.
Where's my buddy online who brings up LeBron all the time and gets you mad?
I don't know.
Triple C in a truck?
No. Isn't he the guy who hates LeBron?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't even think he really hates. I don't even think he really hates LeBron. I think he just likes to play the heel. Oh, right on time. There's this text. LeBron 8th all time. Yeah, that sounds about right.
LeBron 8th all time. That Triple C in a truck. You will never have better timing than you just did. That was outstanding. Well done by you. All right. Enjoy it. Gregor has come in here several times and bringing, I don't know what he's got, but there's a lot of ammo here. So he's got something on his mind, and it's coming up in about 5 minutes from right now. Okay. Tomorrow, we've got bagged milk. We'll look forward to hearing what the Oilers are doing on the ice. One hopes there's some things happening that can help this team. They certainly need it. That's all on the way. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. Please enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Loca Quality Market. Your fridge just got an upgrade. Over 200 chef-prepared gourmet meals waiting at Loca Quality Market. Shop local at loca.ca. Canadian curling trial results from earlier was Jacobs, Epping, McDonald, and McEwen all getting the win. Skurlick currently leading Laws 6-5 in the 10th end. Laws curling with the hammer. 15 games in the NHL. It gets going with 5 games at 5 p.m., including the Calgary Flames in Tampa to take on the Lightning and the Leafs in Columbus to take on the Blue Jackets. Late game tonight, we'll see the Dallas Stars in Seattle to take on the Kraken. 9 games in the NBA. It all gets going in about an hour's time here with the Pistons and Celtics. Toronto Raptors also playing host to the Indiana Pacers. And Kevin Durant returns to Golden State at 8 as they take on the Warriors. In the BCHL, the Sherwood Park Crusaders playing host to the Salmon Arm Silverbacks in the Silent Ice Center in Nisku, and in the AJ Drumheller in Devon at the GFL Twin Arena. Puck drop for that one, 7 p.m. I'm Declan Krueger on behalf of Josh Fenwick and Lowetide. This has been the Lowdown with Lowetide. Up next is the Jason Gregor Show with Connor Halley.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and